So let's apply what we just learned about advanced dimensioning to this goofy looking thing here. And we're going to add some annotations to it as well. I'm going to show you how to do some different things with the annotations. Don't forget this is going to be a C-size sheet of paper. And so let's go into annotations here. We've got some things that we have to do first. The first thing is we have to add some center marks here. So let's go up, get this big arch right here. We're going to apply that uh, center point right there. And look, I even put that center line into here. And so that's all set right there. Now we could pull this out over to here and get that center as well, but we've got this really cool center point up here that does circular patterns. So we're going to select that. And the first thing it's going to say down here in our status bar is select the center of the pattern. So we have to select the center. That's going to be our center for this pattern. Now it's going to say click on the locations. Well, locations are going to be here and here and here and here. And look what it does. It puts a hold on here, hit escape. It puts a center line all the way around. So we're going to start at that one. We're going to come around and around and around, around, and right there. And we're going to say create. Okay, so we've got this created. So now we have this center line here. Notice that it's a center line that goes around in this pattern. And we're going to need that because that's going to be really important. Now we can go ahead and pull this to here and show that that's in line with one another there. So we've got that. All right. Now we've got some other center marks that we're going to make here, and that's going to be down in here. And we're going to take the bisecting center line right here. And you got to make sure that you do inside to inside. You got to do the correct pair here. And we're going to do these. These all get center marks as well. And notice that our center line doesn't come an 1/8 inch pass, so we're going to have to grab that and we're going to have to pull that up to an 1/8 of an inch pass there. Okay, so that takes care of some annotations there that we need to do. All right, so let's go ahead and dimension this, and we're going to have a little bit of fun with this in that we're going to dimension using a new tool here. We're going to use baseline, okay? So baseline just creates, we start off with a baseline, and basically what it does your datum dimensioning. So right now, let's see if we can't get this also to go into, we're going to go into manage and style editor. And the last time you guys noticed that it was kind of a pain in the neck to constantly go back and change the size of what was going on. So we're going to take this, we're going to make it 3 decimals here on our units. Okay, we're in inches and tolerancing. So tolerance, we're going to put it at 3 units as well. And we're going to save and close that. And it should now dimension to 3 decimal places. Okay, so let's start off. Remember, I always think that it's important to start off with our front view when possible. And so I'm going to just pull this down here just so you guys can see the top view as we're doing this front view. This is going to be our datum right here, so we know that this is going to be a good datum. This is going to be that surface that we'll probably utilize first. I'm just going to come over here and get my datum and come down, drop that down. That's going to be our datum A. And so I'm going to click on OK on there. And I'm going to do I'm going to do my datum B on this backside right here. And we're going to bring this out. And we're going to change that to B. Now we're really not going to have a tertiary here because our tertiary, well, we could have our tertiary over here on the right side view. Yeah, we're going to do that. So this is going to be our C right here. And we're going to click on OK on that. So there's going to be our primary, secondary, and our tertiary, right? All right, so let's go in and take a look at what we can do here. Let's try this baseline because it's kind of neat. It says select the model that we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing this one, okay? And the geometry, we're going to start here, all right? And we're going to go up to here, and then we're going to select this line. You got to make sure that they turn blue. Now, I didn't get this one because it's going to go over more than half the face of the object. And I'm going to select this one up here. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go continue. And then what I'm going to do is just bring it out until it snaps into place. And for some reason, yeah, it's still only picking up 2 decimal places, which there's something going on with my computer because I'm not sure why it's doing that. This should normally pick that up. So now let's take a look at our widths. So our widths are important here, and we have to look at the top and the front view here to make sure that we're getting the correct places here. We're not going to dimension to this one here and bring this up because it's too far down here. This is a cutout here that we're going to need to do, and you can see where it comes up here. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. So we're still going to use this baseline. We're going to start off here, and we're going to make sure that we get this. We're going to get that line. We're going to pick up this line, and maybe not. Not getting those blue lines, so let me go back and select baseline again. And because we have this round right here, we need to make sure that we're going to get that. I'm not sure if I got the right thing there, but we'll see here in a minute. And let's see what happens when we continue there. Now, we want to come out. We've got to be careful with that. Maybe make sure that we select that line. We're not going to get this line because the shape is in the top view with that. So we're going to come out down here. And we're going to come and get this corner right here. Now, should we get this one right here? I'm going to tell you no, because look, it's a big curve up here. So we're going to have to get this center point up here, but that's not where the shape is. Remember, this is a hidden line down here, and that center would not be correct. So we're going to continue here, and we're just going to drop these in, right in there. We're going to drop that in where that snap goes into place there. And you can still see here that it's not, that datum is going in the correct place right there. All right, so we have detail width. We've got detail width. Well, let's take a look at what some of our other stuff is up here, because we have to get to this center point right here. That's going to be very important. And here, well, what do we do with this? Well, what we're going to do here is that we're going to dimension this as an angle. So we're going to go to our regular dimension tool. We're going to pick up here, and notice that it picks up an angle, right? And we're going to bring that on out here to a snap. We're just going to drop that into place, and that's going to be 33 degrees. Okay. And we're going to click on OK there. All right. So now we've got to come back and we've got to say to ourselves, all right, well, what about what's out here? And how are we going to do this angle right here? These are all things, maybe we shouldn't do that. You know, we could do this as, and 33 degrees is kind of an oddball angle. So we could come over here and we could pick up our baseline again and do our baseline from here. And then let's see if our baseline will go to there and to here. And it's still picking up this angle right here. So let's not do that. Let's go to our regular dimension tool. It picked that up. See, now that regular dimension tool is going to pick that up right there. So we can pick up this corner and this corner, and we can bring that down and drop that into place right there and click on OK. We can come back here and pick up the center point right here. And we can drop that into place right there. Okay. Now we're not adding any tolerances here. What we're trying to do is just get you guys more comfortable on what's happening as far as as this is concerned. What's going to be here. Now we've got a slot up here, got this shape up here. How do we pick all that stuff up? And we lost our dimensions down here for some reason. Let's go back there and figure out why that happened. That's kind of, oh, I probably hit the Control Z. And maybe that undid it. So we're going to bring this up, drop that into place there, and create that. I might not hit create for some reason. Okay, now we've got that going pretty well right there. All right, we still have some other things that we have to do here to make sure that everything is set correctly. So we have this dimension up here for our detail, but what about in here? Well, let's go ahead and let's dimension this angle. We're just going to come over here and here, and we're going to bring this out right here. And you notice that we're putting this on the face of the object, which is unusual, but that is acceptable when it is an angle. So we're going to drop that into there. Now this other angle here, we're going to have to finish off that other angle as well, but we're going to go through methodically and really try to figure all this out and do all of our dimensions. So let's go back to the front view and see if there's anything in the front view that really needs to be done. Well, and when we take a look at that, we don't know, this angle piece here goes down just part of the way. You can see where that's there. So we're going to dimension that over here. Let's escape out this and let's see if we can't move this up or down. And we may wind up moving this out. So I'm going to delete that for now. So we're going to come back in. We're going to take this dimension here, and we're going to bring this out. And we're going to bring it out the same distance that we did the other one over here. So that 2 is coming out the same way. All right, so that's going to come up. That's going to tell us how deep that piece is going to go. Now here, this dimension, that's going to the fillet. So we're going to come back here, something that I noticed. We're going to escape out of that tool. Let's bring that and delete that out, because that's going to be marked off as a fillet and a round. So we're going to bring these in so that everything gets at the right snaps. Okay. Now look how close that is. Now here, this 488, we don't need that either. We're going to go ahead and delete that off. And remember, as we put these in, we can shift these numbers up and down too. They're staggered enough, but we always want to make sure that those numbers are staggered. So I could grab the 5 and I could bring that up a little bit. I could grab this 4.5 and I could pull it up a little bit just to give it a little bit more stagger, give it a little bit more separation. We're in pretty good shape. Put our secondary datum back on here when we get the chance. Looking at this, I think that we've gotten most of the things back here. So I'm going to go back, get my datum. I'll bring it off of here, and we'll make this datum B. Click on OK there. So a lot of pieces and parts that have to fit in here. Now coming back up here, let's take a look. All right. Now we have a shape here. We have all these holes here that we have to dimension with, and we did this on the face of the object. We know that this edge, we've already dimensioned that here, and with this 30-degree angle, we know that we know what this surface is going to be. We do have a problem here in that where does this angle start? So we're going to bring that in here, and there's 2 different thoughts here. We could bring it here onto the face of the object, but we're actually going to bring this off, and we're going to drop it right in here. Okay. We also need to get this other point here for this angle. We've located this point, so we need to locate this other point. So we're going to take this corner here and this corner here, and we're going to bring these out. So that's the coordinate system. So we have a coordinate system done here, and we have the angle system done here, where we found one point right here, and then we created the angle that's there. Now, although this is not datum, this is still acceptable the way that this is laid out because they are for angles. Okay? All right, so let's go to this whole area here. So we've got, right now, we've got this radius. Now you can see that we can bring this radius here on the face of the object, or we can bring it out here where we've got it pointed outward. I think what we're going to do here for this, because even though this would be acceptable, placing our radius right here, I think we'll just go ahead and drop that right in there. It shows you where the center of that is, and it gives you that arc for there. Now we've got this hole that we're going to bring in here. Now we've got to take a look at this and decide how we're going to do this hole, because we've got 3 inches that we would have to bring this out if we do this. Now we've got a hole and thread tool right here. When we do this, we take our hole and thread tool, we're going to click on this right here, and notice that it brings out everything about that hole. Okay, so where do we want to put that? Where do we want to place that? We've got a number of different areas where we could do it. We could bring it here, we could bring it up here. Now we've got also has to give what this radius is here. And I know it's a circle, but we're going to do the radius as well. So what would be the better area? We could bring it over here and drop it on the face of the object. There's really no detail there. We could do that. And that might be the best answer. But I think what we're going to do is I think we're going to still bring this out here and drop that down there. Now notice that I don't take that through that object right there, right? Notice that I don't take that through. And what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to grab this node, if it allows me to. I got to make sure I'm escaped out of that tool. And I'm just going to bring this in between that gap right there. All right, now I'm going to dimension this. We need to dimension, if you're a machinist, what you're going to be doing is that you're going to be going, okay, I'm going to find this center. I'm going to find the center, and I'm going to come out 1.25, 1.25 inches for radius, and I'm going to swing an arc in here, a circle in here, and that's where these holes are going to go, and they're going to go in there evenly spaced. So we have to do another hole tool call out right here. So we're going to come in here, grab this hole, and this would be kind of crazy if we did this for all 6 holes, right? You would have all these leaders coming off here. Remember, this is a leader line. We would have all these coming off. So how can we adapt this and show that it's different? Well, if you escape out of the tool and you double click on it, all right, we have our cursor that comes up here. So we're going to come in here and we're going to go 6 capital X, right? So 6 times a diameter of 0.13. And we're also going to say that these are, and we put our caps lock on, evenly spaced. And we're just going to click on it, okay, right there. So 6 holes at a diameter of 1.35. They're going to be 1/4 inch deep, and they're going to be evenly spaced. So this way, we could have come in here and we could have said, okay, well, if we click on this line and we click on this line, we could say that they're 60 degrees. That would be another way that we could do this, and we could call that out as being typical. So a little bit different way of approaching, and depending on your manufacturer and how you want to do that. So we would just say 60 degrees, and we would put TYP underneath it. That would mean TYP means typical, which would mean typical of all those angles. But right now we're going to just call this out as being evenly spaced. So we have this slot in here, and would we dimension that slot right here? Well, there's no shape for this slot right here. So probably what would be better is that we come over and we do this. Now we know that this is a 3-inch radius, so this is going to be 6 inches total here. But we've got that radius here. So in our right side view, what is it that we really need to dimension? Well, what we really need to dimension is going to be this slot right here, because we know that the overall dimension is going to be that. Now we could put it in as a reference dimension, and maybe that's what we'll do. So we're going to go baseline here again, all right? And Again, what we've got to be careful with the baseline is that with this is that we pick up those fillets and rounds. Now, do we have that other surface dimensioned? Do we have the width of this surface dimension? And no, we do not. So we're going to pick up this. And then what we're going to do is, just for kicks and giggles, we're going to pick up this and we're going to go ahead and go continue. And we're going to drop that into place and we're going to create that. Now I missed one dimension here. So just to show you how we can move some things around, this dimension right here is going to become what kind of a dimension? Because we already have it dimensioned as a radius up there, and that's the important part, we're going to come in here and we're going to go to our precision and tolerance. We're going to make it a reference dimension. So we're going to click on OK right there. Make that a reference dimension. Now I'm going to pull all these up another snap here because I forgot to get this one dimension. So we're going to pick up just our standard dimension tool. We're going to pick up this corner and we're going to pick up this edge and we're going to bring this into here and drop that into place. All right, now notice that my dimensions aren't clearly set apart. So we're going to pull this up and make all those separated by the same amount right there. So now we have our slot. This is the shape. We've got this dimensioned here. We've got all these shapes dimensioned over here. We still need to put in a center mark over here, center line. So we're going to put that in. We're going to escape out and we're going to pull that up to show that. We're going to go ahead and do it here for our two holes that we're seeing. Yes, you do put center lines in when there's hidden lines as well. Okay, so we've got that. We've got all this here, and we've put that in as a reference dimension. All right, let's see if there's anything else maybe that we might need here on this right side view. You can see here the depth of these holes is already called out, so we don't have to do a section view. And we've got the depth of this cut laid out over here. We've got that width laid out over here. We could put in, depending on the company and on the manufacturer, we could put in a reference dimension right here. This would be something that would be acceptable. And we would bring this up and drop that into place. And we would make this a reference dimension because this is not a good datum. This is not a good measurement. So when the manufacturer comes along, we don't want a flat side right here. We have to make sure that we cut this at 7, that we go to 7, and then we swing this 3-inch radius right here. We don't want this to be cut down to 10 inches and then do the arc. And that's the issue. If you made this 10 inches, what you're saying to the manufacturer is cut this piece to 10 inches and then make your arc right here. Well, that's not what we want to do, because if you're off by a little bit, if you come in this way or you go out this way, you might wind up with a flat spot right here. Especially if you come out here and on this 10 inches, maybe you're in on your tolerance a little bit, you're going to get flat space right there, just like we talked about in the tolerance dimensioning. All right, so let's inspect this. Let's go through and take a look. Do we have all the dimensions that are needed for the manufacturer to make this? So if we go through and methodically check it, and we're going, okay, detail height, another detail height here. What about this hidden line here? That's over here. That's the depth of that slot. So do we have that depth? No, we don't have that depth. And where's that depth shown? It's shown over here. So we're going to pick up over here and see, that's why you go through this methodically. And we're going to pick up that corner right here. And we're going to bring this out. And we're going to bring it right out to here. And there we go. So going through it methodically and going through it systematically really helps out a great deal. So now we've got Well, what is this height to? We might have an extra height in here, which it looks like we do. All right, so not sure where Inventor came up with that one, but we're going to escape out. We're going to go ahead and select this and delete it off. And we're going to bring that 5 in to there. Okay, so again, looking at everything, we've got the overall height over here on the front view, and we've got all of that here. Now you've noticed the last couple of drawings that we've done, the overall width has been in the top view, right? This is really counts as the overall width, although this is our total width when it's all said and done. All right, so if we look at our heights, it looks like now that we have all of our heights. And if we look at our widths, it looks like we have all of our widths. And then as we look at our depth, we have depth to the shape, to the shape, to the shape. We have a reference dimension here. We have our arc here. We have our depth where this point stops to do our angled, and we have our depth here where this stops to do our coordinate system. Now there's one thing that we haven't done yet, and that is these fillets and rounds. So if we went through and we dimensioned all of these fillets and rounds, we would be driving ourselves crazy right now, because we'd have all these little things all over the place that told us that the radius was 0.13. Well, we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to add a note. So we're going to go up here to our text, and we're going to add a note here, and we're going to keep it at 0.125. 1/8 inch lettering is basically what we generally will do. Caps lock is on, I hope. Yep. And we're going to say note, colon, all. Oops. Wish I could type. Fillets and rounds. 0.125 unless otherwise specified. Okay, I know I'm not a fast typer. And we could make this if we wanted to. We could leave it all strung out like this. We could hit the return and have it lined up like that. I'm going to leave it out here just like this. And generally speaking, what we do is we put that right over top of the title block right here. We can put it right there where the manufacturer can see it. So that gives us all of our fillets and rounds. Remember that that's a round. This is a fillet. Okay, so fillets are concave, rounds are convex. Right, and that takes care of all the fillets and rounds. Now, obviously, if we had something else, a fillet or a round that was a different size, we'd have to dimension that. All right, so go ahead and put your name and date and time on it. And this is a C-size sheet of paper. Remember, if you don't remember what size sheet of paper, you can go up here to the browser bar. You can right-click in the browser bar, and you can go to Edit Sheet, and it's going to tell you it's a C-size sheet of paper. All right, so there we go. That is advanced dimensioning. We can move this around a little bit to make it look a little bit more professional, fill some areas in a little bit more, but there you go. Something fairly complex to dimension and very interesting. All right, you all have a great day. Thank you.